what? It's what? Welcome to What's What with Old Man Liver, your favorite freaky fucked up friend. And today our topic is religion. A topic you don't normally discuss because normally religion and politics is a no-no. But on the Old Man Liver show, it makes for its own subject matter. And today we have a special guest. Will is in the house. Welcome, Will.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming out. Will's got a particularly fucked up background that I wanted to get into because as we became friends and I found out his whole background and where you're from and all that, it just got wackier and wackier, and it was so interesting. And Will's already got an interesting background with the industry he's in and the area you're living in and where you're trying to do everything. But your upbringing has a special uniqueness to it that we don't get to discuss that much because it's few and far between that A, someone has this background, and B, someone's willing to talk about it. So thank you for being willing to come in and be on the show and be open about it. So, Will, where let's start with where were you born?
Hilldale, Utah.
Okay, so Hilldale, Utah, for those of you that don't know, it's Hilldale is right on the border of Arizona and Utah, along with and half of it's Arizona City, right? Isn't that what they call it? It's like Hilldale, Utah, but
and Colorado City.
Those
City,
are Arizona. That's right.
Towns.
Yeah, Colorado City.
Legal.
Right.
They call the area Short Creek by terms. So if you ever hear the term Short Creek, that's referring to both before it was legal.
Okay, so this is an area where the fundamentalist Mormons congregate. It's the FLDS, right? Fundamentalist Latter-day Saints. Is that right?
Yeah, they claim to have the true lineage of polygamous followers from the Joseph Smith era is the lineage that I was following as far as the cult or religion that I was following.
Yeah, cult is right.
I'm out of it now, so I'll call it what it is. And when you're in it, you call it religion. But
now you can say it's a cult.
It is what it is, you know?
Yeah. So you were raised in this environment of the crazy, and it's Warren Jeffs is probably the most famous person to come out of the cult, and he was from Hilldale, right? Didn't he have his own following over there?
He took things as far out as anybody has, as far as my recognition of any of the polygamous leaders that have fell out from the Utah polygamous branches that have all fallen out from the Mormon mainstream religion since 1880.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I remember when Warren Jeffs got busted in Vegas and got arrested, and now he's in prison, right?
Yes.
For countless charges of underage.
Right. As far as I know, of all the polygamous leader figures that have existed, like I'm pointed out, he's the one that had the most wives. He's the one that had the most underage wives. He's the one that did the most weird placement marriages. He had the most mind control on the people that were following him. To be honest with you, it kind of freaks me out because I was looking at the scenarios of everything, and when he got involved with Texas and as close as he did to Texas, I believe he was setting up to do a mass Waco.
Oh, shit. That's right. He did have a compound in West Texas, too.
He was building the Coliseum and everything down there when they caught him, and he told them to proceed with all these different things. So,
interesting.
He's an interesting figure, and I'm glad to be out.
Is he still running the show from prison, or
he still runs the fundamental group from prison by the face? Now, if you want to get behind anything that's actually deep, there's always somebody deeper, and I believe his mom is the matriarch of the whole bunch.
Interesting.
I believe she's the one that's been putting all the wives behind him and everything from day one. She was, Warren is the predecessor from his dad, so this is two generations where mom can sit here and take
So the mom, did the mom even control it when his dad was in control?
I believe Merrill and Jeffs had a strong
interesting
influence on any of the decisions that they were making.
So that's a lot. That's an inside scoop that a lot of people don't know. That
No.
that his mom,
That name
Marilyn
itself
Jeffs.
is-
Yeah, I've never heard that name, but she's like the puppet master behind the whole fucking show over there.
Right. Well, if you want to go in and see what's behind Rome, as they call it, you're going to find out that, there was some things behind Caesar per se, and you don't get the full face.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So, and from my understanding, like Warren Jeffs didn't actually believe his own bullshit because I remember they caught him and he was wearing red, and it was something like you weren't supposed to wear red, and he told people
Right.
not to do that, but he was doing it himself, and
Extremely hypocritical as a figure.
yeah, so he knew he was bullshitting, and he didn't necessarily believe his
Right.
own crap, but he had enough people believing it where
He knew how to create a face for himself at an extremely young age because he was the principal of a school at 18 years old, as far as I understand, maybe even a little bit younger.
interesting.
So he really developed two faces, as you might say, because he could be what he was to the public persona of the religion. And then, as you find out, he had a different personality that was molesting young boys and young girls in the family, and it just got more and more out of hand from there. And by all counts of what I've talked about with my buddies from the cult, you see patterns where Marilyn's just always involved.
Interesting.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't a molested child. And if you want, I'm glad I got into psychology because I used to be really angry at the man, but for him to be as weird and whacked up as he is, if we was to look into his family and what happened under the Jeffs, Rulin Jeffs, which is his dad, and then I believe David Jeffs is Rulin Jeffs' dad. David was a midwife, or what do you call that? Is it a midwife?
Yeah.
Where you help deliver babies?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is 3 generations of people messing around with women at both physical levels and psychology levels, using religion to get these girls and seal them under their marriage and whatnot, and then who knows what happens. So when you see this weird of stuff come out of this from a psychology standpoint, I'm just going, what happened?
Yeah.
And you can't just put it on the men, because you want to open up the other side of this thing. What happened to Warren as a child for him to be that messed up and deranged on other humans?
Yeah, you're clearly missing several chips.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do that.
And
to
it
people.
didn't just start there, I don't want to bring up any families here in America, but we've got some instances where we've broken them down, and you find out that there's weird stuff that happens for it to get this prolific.
Yeah. So how long did you live in this environment?
I was born into it as a child, and about 6 years old, I started noticing some trends because my family wasn't completely sucked up into the Jeff side of it, because we were born down in the Short Creek area, as we called it. That group of people don't seem to have a lot of weird stuff attached to them. So when the Jeffs brought all their stuff from Salt Lake and intermingled with our community down here and started marrying and intermarrying their children into us and stuff, that's when we started seeing things a lot more weird. So I was one of the families in Short Creek, but my dad ended up being Warren's first counselor. Or bishop, sorry.
Oh, interesting. So your
The main
dad had
bishop.
some hierarchy in the church.
Right. So that's kind of where I got looped into it, was through my dad and his connection with my AKA grandpa through my dad's marriage, my dad's mom's marriage.
Interesting.
So
So around 6, you start picking up on the fact that it's not normal, that there's weird shit going on, and I mean, that's pretty insightful for
in
a
the community, we
6-year-old.
had some people that we called apostates, right? So me as a young mind, I've always been
Did you say prostate?
apostate.
Oh, apostate. Yeah.
Yeah. Up your prostate.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me.
anyway, it's basically an excluded member of the church.
Right.
They're all the devils of the.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. If someone doesn't buy your
But I'm
bullshit,
seeing, you know
then
what?
you're
These
outta
guys
here.
are living a pretty decent life, and I'm seeing that people out in the real world interact with them really well and stuff. So I started basically being like, I want out of this as soon as I can turn 18.
Wow. So you had that kind of insight, even growing up with that being supposed to be normal.
I'm glad I had it. I don't know where it came
Yeah,
from,
I
but
was
just
like,
to
where do you
question everything was
Yeah.
great for me in my circumstance.
'Cause most people are just sheeple and just follow just
Yeah.
naturally, but
And I
especially
dealt
if you're
with a lot
brainwashed.
from that. I got kicked out into my own room at 11. So I've been on my own, so to speak, since I was 11 because I've been living in my own room,
Really?
out away from the main house.
So they got pissed off at you for not buying into everything?
I wasn't that compliant child ever.
Interesting.
So the authorities picked up on that stuff. So I've had a little bit of an interesting interface with it all because my dad was the bishop, but yet I was still communicating with the outsiders as much as anybody under those conditions, because once you're what you might call into the elite status, you're not very exposed to the rest of the people.
Interesting. So they basically banished you to your own room for years, or like,
Yeah, I pretty well just started surviving from there, and I started asking Dad to get on the work crews and stuff like that. So 14, I started leaving, months at a time to go
so
on
they had work
crews.
crews that they would like send y'all out to a project and did
Child labor.
child labor. Like,
Straight up
Did
what
you
it
get
was.
paid at all, or
If we were lucky, we got $100 to cover our shorts for the week.
interesting? That so basically,
And, they'd come and tell us, well, Warren, just like when he got put in prison, everybody's already on short rations and you need to donate your extra $100 this week to pay the attorneys off because we have a $1 million, $5 million, $8 million bill that came up, right?
right?
So they'd use that on the people that we got to keep building, keep pushing. So,
So they basically, even if they paid you, they took the money back.
yeah,
to-
you're just a pure puppet.
Yeah, interesting. So did you ever did your dad was he influenced by this chick Marilyn Jeffs as well, or was that like a separate?
If
thing?
I brought that subject up with him, he would probably look at me like I was crazy.
Interesting. Like you're
But
crazy.
I'm okay with that because I like being crazy coming from there.
Especially in a good way.
In
crazy.
their aspect.
Yeah, and you're weird in their
Right.
aspect.
If I'm a little more normal from you guys viewing me and a little more crazy on their view, I've
That's
done
a
well.
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So so your dad was like the bishop, and was there like some infighting or like for leadership, or was there ever anybody questioning?
There at the end, or 2007, they kicked my dad out of the house for some stuff that I brought in the house. I ended up finding out, which was movies.
Oh,
So
you can't
they
watch
moved
movies.
us. To cover up all the underage stuff that was going on with Warren, he moved everybody into hiding in 2004. Okay, so I was living in Colorado with the family, and Dad was traveling from Short Creek to Colorado as the bishop. So he would still bring messages to the people and be the face of the people, right? But he still had his personal family in hiding. The reason why we ended up in hiding is he used a whole bunch of his main men's families to move into hiding also in South Dakota, North Dakota, Texas, Colorado, a little bit Missouri, whatever, to mask his deal. So to the people, we're all this sacred people, and now that we're getting persecuted, we need to move into hiding. So this is how he got all these other families to jump on board. So fast forward to 2007, we've been in hiding and whatnots. Now a bunch of stuff's gone down. Warren got caught 2006. He's gone mental. He starts accusing a bunch of people of some things. And then he says to everybody that he's married out, because he's broken up some families earlier on in the 2002 to 2004 era. He's taken families that had, for say, 6 to 10 women with an old man, developed a family of anywhere from 60 or 40 to 100, right? And he's removed the man. He's taken all those women, spread them around to his other main man. So you've got all these broken up step families, is what I call it,
Yeah.
and just a big mess. So they've moved multiple people around in hiding and stuff, and they've got the Short Creek base is what they call as the money funnel.
Interesting.
Right.
So when you now growing up, like what are the rules that they had on you, like as far as what you could do socially or wear or listen to, or what are, because I've seen different documentaries and I was curious what was actually true. Because one thing I heard was that you couldn't listen to music unless it was Warren Jeffs.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
Like he had to be the singer for it to be okay by
Right.
God or whatever.
He knew psychology at a level because he studied Hitler and stuff. So he understood psychology.
I got to brainwash people. And
Yeah.
what are the other things that you couldn't do?
We always had to have long underwear for say. We always, the girls always had to have their prairie dresses. They were a lot more strict on the girls' dress codes than the men's. The men, they really liked to show some defiance because that gave them a reason to kick them out so that they can have more women for the community.
Interesting. So they would systematically kick out guys so there's more chicks.
Right. I would have got removed from the community a lot earlier had I not been integrated as much as I was with the family that I was. So, like, I got away with a little bit. So, to get back to the point, Dad got kicked out for something I brought into the house, which was movies.
Yeah. So you can't watch movies. That's a no.
So they kicked Dad out.
For you getting caught with, were they porn movies?
Bringing in.
Were they just regular?
I brought in Princess.
Princess
it's a
Bride?
Disney movie.
Oh.
The ice skate figure one.
Yeah. I know
It's
what you're talking
famous
about.
with
I'm
Anne
trying to think
Hathaway
of-
in it.
Yeah. So
Anyhow.
so a Disney movie is against the rules?
Yeah, and that one was particularly bad because there was a lot of crotch showing in the dancing.
Oh shit.
See?
Interesting.
So some of his other wives went and reported to the bishopric, the people higher than Dad.
Yeah.
Or
So
the first presidency.
you got your
sorry.
dad busted. And
Without realizing it, yeah.
then, yeah. So what did he have to go off and live in his own spot or something, or?
He went for a year up to Wisconsin and then figured out that, okay, this ain't too cool. They ended up inviting him back to a place they called R1, which was about 400 miles away from the place we were.
Interesting.
We didn't know it, but he was living there for 3-4 months. That's the thing, is just super secret, Masonic type
So
organized.
you didn't even know where your dad was?
No.
Wow.
Nope. 2007 to 2008, we had no clue where he was.
So how old were you at that time? Like
I was 17.
you're kind of a
16,
teenager
17.
with no dad, trying to feel out the environment. You already knew it was fucked up on some level by then, but you weren't 18 where you could leave on your own.
Yeah, right at the end of 17. So I turned 18 while he was gone, as I'm recalling here, because while he was gone, I started getting out and meeting some people, right?
Yeah.
That was somewhere why he got put under scrutiny too, because he was allowing his kids to go out and work for Gentiles, and we we're supposed to be in hiding.
So nobody else you went and worked for with these projects, nobody told the authorities like these people are...
No, because we as people in the church thought we were protecting everything that was about us, is all used for reference, by not going to the authorities. So, like, they told us straight up on the work missions, if you guys talk about what goes on, you know you can shut down the whole operation, right?
So
They would straight up say that to us.
Wow. So no one talked about it.
Oh, no.
No one went to... Interesting.
And then if we ever ended up on government projects where the men had to have the checks ran through their name,
Yeah.
they had those men taking them straight to the bank, cashing them straight to the church.
Really? So it all went right back to the church.
Mhm.
Interesting. So, that's fascinating in its own right. That it took so long for this to be exposed and Warren Jeffs get busted and all that kind of stuff. Because I think aren't the cops in Hilldale, aren't they part of the cult too?
Yeah,
Like-
at that point, he had full control over the marshals of Colorado City, and yeah, they were doing some interesting things. I got pulled over by one of them one time, and they were doing their surveillance stuff. He says, "Do you know what you've done wrong?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "Well, you kept your blinker on for a little bit too long."
That is
I said,
quite
well,
the crime.
I said, "Can you tell Lyle to back off, please?"
That's funny. So you knew
He got this look in his eye like, "Ugh."
that's
And I'm
awesome.
like, "Yeah, I know your games, boys."
So it was so Lyle was the one behind the
At that point, Lyle was, because Warren was in prison, Lyle had got moved into the Bishopric place after they
and
kicked my dad
who's
out.
Lyle? Like
Lyle
Warren's
is
son?
Warren's brother.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Basically, you've got 4 Jeff's brothers that are all under Maryland. That's
and
why.
and the mom's like the puppet mat, and they're the interesting.
Because she's even taken each one of the boys and done the same thing to them as keeping the mask going with everything. That's why I'm so convinced that she's a part of this, because why would you do it to each one of your boys also, unless you're trying to make it look like you're treating everybody the same to keep the donations coming?
So is she still alive? The
Yeah, she's
Maryland
an old lady right now.
Okay, but she never went to prison. She just quietly, and the boys got in trouble,
just
but she
running the puppet.
Interesting. And they're still, even with Warren Jeffs busted, that's what amazes me is when he got busted, doing the things that he wasn't supposed to do and all that. And no one, I mean, they probably aren't exposed to it because you can't watch the regular news, can you?
No, that's what's, no, you're not exposed to anything.
So they may
we got
not
our
even know
cell
that
phones
he got
taken away.
Yeah.
It was down to flip phones because you couldn't get on the internet. All that stuff. Any of the work crews, you didn't have a phone unless you were basically one of the businessmen communicating with the commerce.
It's like North Korea, where you're limited with your information to the outside world.
North Korea might have had it easy on us. I think we might have been closer to Pakistan.
Yeah, that's that's fucked up. Because because it amazes me that people, because they had to know he got arrested because he went away, right? So
right.
Wouldn't you hear things and then go, oh, he wasn't real?
Exactly. So they had us believing that everything that was surfacing on the internet was all photoshopped or made up videos.
Interesting.
And
so way
that,
before AI was really a thing, he was convinced everyone it was fake. And
we were the theorist of theorists before theory came into play.
So where did people think he went? Like, if he just disappeared because he, is in prison or whatever.
Oh, we knew the prisons that he went to and where he was. That they disclosed that to us, but they was telling us like they would implement 3-day fasts on the communities all the time to pray to God that the walls of the prison can come down so that he can walk out.
Wow! So they're still believing him. Yeah. Still, like he can still do no wrong, and it's the evil government that persecuted him or whatever.
At one point, he implemented everybody has to stop, go in the house, drop to your knees, and pray every single hour for deliverance.
Wow, that is fucked up. Like on a whole nother scale that anyone ever has to.
I remember just asking myself the question, Dad, how can you be doing this to your family? Why can you not see through it?
You'd ask him that, or you just thought it?
No, I thought that stuff. If I questioned, I would have been.
Oh, wow. So, like, did he have like wives, several wives, or
in Dad's case, he ended up having 12 women married to him from Warren.
Wow.
So my dad kind of got doped into the dopamine from getting the women married to him.
So he's all living. Like this.
4 of them are with him now after leaving the religion because they've had to compartmentalize and look at reality a little heavier than the FLDS because Dad came back and said, I'm going to have my family whether these guys say it or not. And he's came around a bit, but he's still just gone through so much being raised in that cult that he don't see the daylight for what it is.
Interesting. So even to this day, he's still that brainwash sticks with him.
He'll always forever feel that his salvation is going to come through believing in what he does.
Interesting. So were you seeing your dad with like chicks younger than you and that kind of thing? Or was
That
it?
never happened with me, mostly because Dad was really, really young figure for the responsibilities he ended up with. So I was 16 and his youngest was, what, maybe 21, 20?
Okay. Interesting. So when you turned 18, did you just fucking tail it out of there, or how did that all play out? How'd you get away?
I set my goal on once I had my legals enough to just be on my own.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get out. For me, is what happened is I was 17 when Dad got kicked out. So I had been doing a little bit of some dabbling and some outside work and got connected to my ex-wife. So when I brought it home that I had been connected with a girl out there, they kicked me out for good. So that was
because she was
17 and a
outside
half.
of the community, so that was a no-no.
She was from Colorado.
Interesting.
So that was my connection. When Dad left, I was like, you know what? You know, we got things hard as a rock and we're sick of having blue balls. So here we go.
Right, yeah. It's like when you're, masturbating to Disney movies because that's all you got. And that's still considered
exactly.
bad. You're like, the fucking cartoon is hot, man. Like, if that's all you got, so I get it.
I didn't know what porn was until the first presidency accused me of it.
That's funny.
That's a true story because I was so naive.
What happened?
I was out looking on the internet one day, I was up on a work project one day, and I borrowed the main computer in the office to go set up a track phone for Mom. And I got distracted on YouTube, and I clicked
ended up on YouPorn.
No, oh no,
It was just on YouTube. Oh, it was legitimate YouTube, but
100% here. And I pulled up a couple of snowmobile racing videos because I thought snowmobiles were cool at the time. I clicked on a video that had a girl sitting on a snowmobile in a bikini. That was the porn.
Wow, that is quite the porn. That's
I got drilled for that.
That's fucking ridiculous. So how did they catch it? They walk in and
they did the history.
Rules watching. Browser.
So they
history,
would allow us to go do what we wanted. Then they'd just go in and check us.
Yeah, God, I hope no one ever, after I pass away, review my browser history. Good God.
It might be some good education.
Did he do anything? Did he look at anything besides YouPorn, PornTube, XHamster, XNXX? Oh, wait. I mean, I'm just guessing that those are porn sites.
Right. Maybe they'll show up one day because you named them.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been me. It would have been my coworker.
Right.
But anyway, so you're already been busted. So they're kind of kicking you out. They don't want you there anymore at that point, right?
Right.
Like,
At this point, I moved in with the lady that I was doing some work for. She was a really cordial, decent, good lady. She was 2.5 years before this, when Dad was still there. She asked if she could use me to go down and get her feed. I'm starting to see why she did this now. She wanted to get me alone with her because she could see that I was struggling. She asked me some straight point questions nobody ever had. She said, Will, why do you follow Warren? Why do you believe in this man? Right? And so I stand in that, what we call a testimony build up from the religion, a memorized thing. So she's like, Will, cut it out.
You're spouting off.
You tell me what you know about this man. She says, okay, you're not getting it. She says, have you ever shook his hand? Like, maybe 3 times. She's like, did he ever talk to you? Like, no. She brought me straight to reality.
Wow.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. So there I was. I was like, Will, you do not know this man, and yet you've built up a whole commitment to follow. I was like, thank you. So, this was the lady I ended up moving in with.
Okay. Yeah. That's quite the pickup line. I use that myself. Hey, you want to come check out my feed? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's a great pickup line, and it clearly worked. But so that was kind of, she verified what you had kind of been feeling, but hadn't really addressed on that level till you were asked.
She asked the questions
that
let me do the thinking. I never even gave her an answer. She said, "You don't have to answer me."
Interesting.
It was one of the best things that happened to me when I started meeting the outside world. And I ran into a lot of mentors after that over in Colorado and stuff from jumping the fence. Mom, Dad didn't know. I'd just go out the back 40 and over the fence and go for a mule ride with the, the old couple down the road. They're great people.
Oh, yeah. And there's towns not too far from there, like St. George, that, and I mean, it's only, for those that don't know the geography, it's only like 2 or 3 hours from Vegas. So we're not talking about like the middle of fucking Afghanistan or something. This is the United States that this shit is going on. And I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but like the feds didn't crack down on it because they didn't want it to be another Waco or what's the Ridge or whatever, where things got fucked up with Colts and people got killed and all that. But is it true that the cultists would use live off a lot of the government, like food stamps and things like that?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that point up, because that particular community was heavily manipulating the government in that aspect. They're getting huge tax benefits, of course, for the tax credits. So now that I'm starting to understand a little bit of the level that this kind of stuff can work with your nonprofit organization, the church and whatnot, and how all the tax benefits and everything come to play, they were doing a lot of stuff that way. Lyle Jeffs himself actually got convicted of laundering and fraud because he was having all of the women come to one of the produce establishments, and they were billing them for $10-15 of produce, right? But he had racked up about $2 million of wash money.
Oh, shit. Interesting. So
straight off of a food card.
Is it true that it was kind of, because I saw this on one show or something where they said it was kind of part of the community was a big fuck you to the United States by using as much federal funding and food stamps and all that as possible.
There was a little bit of some negative energy going on that way, because we've always felt like the government's been up our butt
out to get you, and that kind of,
for a reason. It's because they've always known that there was weird stuff going on. If there weren't, they wouldn't have bothered us.
Yeah, so interesting. But nobody, I mean, and even to this day, it's still going on over there, right? If I drove to Hilldale, whatever, if I drove through town, would everyone be looking at me like outsider dude, like watching you?
The Short Creek area is not really the home base so much anymore. The FLDS is slowly falling off each more as the years go on, because there's just too much dirt. I mean, you can only say stuff's AI made up so long before people say, you know what, that was years before we had that.
Right. Like, so some people are, do you think that religion per se is kind of dissipating and won't?
It is slowly because of the Jeff's power. If it keeps going on, I believe their home base is going to be either the Dakotas or Texas.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know they were trying to spread out for a while there.
Yeah.
Hitting,
well, Utah and Arizona basically went in and took the private trust land and broke it up and gave it back to people that wanted to come back and acquire what they had originally built and such. So a lot of people that have caught on to things have gone back and reacquired land. So now the balance of the traditional prairie dress polygamist, as I'll call it, the FLDS, versus all the different people trying to make their way after that whole thing, is you might be 40% FLDS left.
Got it. So do you still have like friends and family that are over there, or?
I still have family in the FLDS through my dad's other wives. None of my direct siblings are still in it. My mom's out of it. My great grandma died just about a year ago, and I could have had a pretty awesome, I believe 5 generation photo with her. Had my kids got to meet her.
Wow.
But she's under the cult, so
they couldn't have
well
communicated with her.
Right. They never got to talk to her.
Oh man.
And she's a very loving person, but it's because of the hierarchy stuff that she's under, basically the house she's in, that she can't communicate.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's a fucking fascinating story. And just the fact that you got out of it and that you had that independent mindset and spirit on your own without, yes.
I call it the school of hard knocks.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you're talking about that's a hard knock for goddamn sure. But I'm glad you escaped from it, and we get to hang out and drink together and shit now, because I assume drinking is a no in the community, right?
Yeah, but it's there again. There was so much hypocritical stuff going on.
So probably the bishops were drinking, the hierarchy. Yep. So all the followers.
The rules were no
in.
Alcohol, all these different things.
Right, no music unless Warren Jeffs is the one singing. That's what I should do with my music career. Start a fucking cult and then have it where only my music can be played, and then I'll sell more albums.
Right, and you got good followers.
Yeah, because those followers can't listen to anybody else, so there's no competition.
Right.
That's you gave me a great idea.
He was on a roll. He had about 20,000 people working for him. I don't know, what it takes to get 360 million or whatever.
Yeah,
20,000.
Let's see, if each vinyl record is $30 times 20. Oh, sorry.
But for real, 20,000 people is still a pretty good little pool.
I was going to say, I'll take that. That'll fill up an arena.
Well, for instance, I'm just going to dial it down to 2,000 because this was a hardcore number. I knew in people that were 18 to 24 out working on those projects. Okay, so we're going to use 2,000 men. Now we're going to require they each turn in 1,000 a month. What does that make right there?
Oh, shit.
That's 2 million.
And that's like all going to the Jeffs family, basically.
There was 1 month they hit us because the attorney stuff. So they'd use the stuff that they were getting hit for by law down there to make big bucks. So we're this many $1 million in debt from attorney bills, right? So they had every single eligible elder, as they called it, in the church go and get $5,000, even if they had to put it on a credit card. Wow. So you do that times 3,000 people. That was a $15 million collect just like that.
Yeah, that's quite the business platform.
And by the way, this is just in a little religious community. If we want to play numbers, now open up some of these scenarios on what goes through the Allegiant Stadium.
Interesting. Wow.
Run 50,000 people through Allegiant at $100 a piece.
Yeah.
I believe that's 50. Or
carry the one, the integer X. I think
anyhow, too big for my little brain.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
That's
a
great idea. You've given me all these businesses, and I would have loved to have interviewed your grandmother and great grandmother, and unfortunately we can't do that.
That's just a point of what comes with cults and religions. So I love freedom of thought, freedom of psychology, allow everyone to think what they want.
Freedom to drink a lot at the Pioneer Saloon and run around on mountains naked, for instance.
Yeah,
I've heard somebody did that.
I won't confirm that wasn't me.
He won't confirm nor deny. But if that were to happen, I would be very respectful of.
I believe the cactus is either scarred or joyed.
I can imagine.
I don't know what a cactus thinks, but.
Oh man, there's a lot of directions we can go with that. That being said, I just want to thank you for being on the show.
Always a pleasure.
We got a big fucking exposure. This Marilyn Jeffs thing is huge. No, I've never seen a documentary or a news article or anything that exposes the mom as the real puppet master. So that's an exclusive that we got just on this show. And Marilyn, if you're out there and you want to counter this, come on the Old Man Liver show and we'll treat you real nice. So thank you, Will.
I hope you find us.
Right? I get to use my chimes. That's the perfect use of the chime. Thank you, Will, my dear friend. And thank you for tuning in. This is What's What with Old Man Liver saying, Woo-da!